the future as you measure in time, space, communications which we offer through this instrument. We communicate now.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Are they in the proper approach pattern for today?
Negative.
Hold weapons! Now! Charge the lightning field.
Welcome back to Dispatch Ajax. I'm Skip.
I am doing now. No, I'm Jay. How about that?
You are.
Yeah.
I know. I kind of wanted to say something about how you're slowly getting dressed as we do this, but nobody needs to know any of that.
Does it sound different once I put on clothes? Is it sultry?
Oh, God, no. No, it's the opposite of that.
Is this another ASMR episode?
Oh, God.
We need all of them.
So, today is going to be, I think, this is going to be a fun rabbit hole episode. Remember our Mandela Effect episode?
You know, in fact, sir, I do remember our Mandela Effect episode.
I will never forget it, mostly because when we recorded it, it was so insane and such a rabbit hole that our recording was literally 3.5 hours that I managed to pare down to 1.5 hours, which even then seemed excessive. This is, I think, a topic on that level. I don't think it's going to be that massive, but who's to say? And people will probably remember it differently in the future. I'm going to start with a quote and see if this seems familiar to you in any way, shape, or form.
Me or the gentle listener?
Yes. Our galaxy was created by a single logos, and our sun is a sub-logos of that logos. A sub-logos individualizes or differentiates the natural laws set up by its logos. It also refines the cosmic mind into its specific archetypal mind, informed by the experience of earlier sub-logoi.
I had sub-logoi once. I had to get some cream for it.
You have to take these big pills.
They're horse pills, man.
Usually if you just get some citrus in your diet, it's fine.
My neighbor kept saying, just use ivermectin on it. But I was like, no.
You know what? Now you're actually way closer to the topic than we were before. We're not the type of people who cynically condemn or judge systems of belief wholesale. We don't.
No, would never do that.
Never.
Couldn't, wouldn't, haven't, shouldn't.
I said wholesale. As long as your religion isn't used as a means of like oppression, abuse, or exploitation, yeah, it can be beneficial to certain swaths of society. That's fine.
Oh.
That having been said, there is a phenomenon post the Enlightenment of moving away from or finding alternatives to the main institutions of organized religion. Be that movements like deism in the 18th century, spiritualism in the 19th and early 20th centuries, the rise of Hinduism-inspired cults in the second half of the 20th century. It happens, and it is cyclical. And in the modern world, those cycles are much more rapid or ongoing. And since the beginning of the 20th century especially, those ideas have been increasingly esoteric and inspired by more and more international schools of thought. But even those that crop up today, be it QAnon or Zizism, is it Zizism or is it Zizism?
Steve Zissou? Is that what you're trying to say?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's Steve Zonzism. They aren't really wholly original, and they do all share similar elements. One of the inevitable elements of these cycles is, of course, backlash by mainstream society. An example, the Jesus movement of the 70s, the Satanic Panic, evangelicalism of the early aughts, whatever the hell's going on right now. They're all part of the same system of rinse and repeat. Case in point, QAnon is a manifestation of backlash and also one of these examples. But in all of those cases, one of the unifying concepts is that we somehow, as a species, have gotten off course spiritually, and we have to get back to connecting to society at large and what is seen as God or a creator. So today I wanted to talk about one that I discovered only recently, the curious case of the Law of One. Are you familiar with this at all?
Law of One. Is that a Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd reference? That he is, in fact, the law?
He is the Law of One. This is all about Stallonism. We are all Stalloneites.
I am a Stallonite. All praise the Stallone.
Stallone laughs at your God.
The glass table and pray.
One of its disciples is Vince McMahon.
Oh, God.
No, that's a pantheon we could totally...
I read a really bad story recently that just came out about him and one of the former wrestlers he had that committed suicide.
Good.
After they allowed her rape at a military base, that's an old story. But then he also...
Yeah.
Anyway.
That really helped the mood. So the...
Sorry, cut it out. Cut it out.
Oh, boy. So, the law of one is a system of belief that stems from ufologist, pilot, engineer, physicist, bon vivant, Don Elkins, and his colleague Jim McCarthy, who together interviewed a woman named Carla Rueckert. Now, Rueckert claimed to be a medium, and in the early 1980s, they engaged in a series of sessions where Rueckert acted as a channel. This comes up a lot. A channel for an entity known as Ra. Yes, that Ra. The Ra you're all thinking of from Stargate, which they believed was a collective consciousness or an advanced extraterrestrial intelligence, which off the bat should sort of be a red flag, right?
What do you mean?
Flares go up. They sought to understand and communicate insights about the unity of all life, the evolution of the soul, the interconnectedness of all things, as Douglas Adams would say. They recorded all these sessions, and they delved into topics such as, well, pretty much all just metaphysics. They claimed that they talk about philosophy, psychology, and mystical aspects of the human experience, but, I mean, you could just say metaphysics, we kind of get it. The resulting material was then published as a series of books that have attracted a loyal following. As they put it, of those interested in spiritual teachings and esoteric knowledge. This work emphasizes the themes of, and here's the most important part, love, light, and the importance of personal growth and understanding the context of a larger cosmic framework. Now, love and light are the most important words in this entire thing, because these people coined the phrase love and light as a spiritual topic. So, research of love and light, just Google love and light research. These guys created it. These publications, in reality, were really just a collection of doublespeak, misused or misunderstood terminology, and rhetorical nonsense. But because of its vagueness and its ambiguity, it's since allowed wide swaths of people to apply their own sensibilities and interpretations on top of it. We'll come back to that later. First of all, Doug T. Elkins, engineer, pilot, and paranormal researcher, and this comes from, I think, his personal obituary, was born and raised in Louisville, Kentucky. I think they call it Louisville. He grew up in a family of Christian scientists.
Those are my favorite kind of scientists.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus was first and foremost a scientist.
And an alien.
Apparently. He departed from his youth. Oh, Jesus Christ. I guess that would just be getting older. No, he
Departed from his youth.
I meant to say.
Like a rocket into space.
Elkins departed from his faith as a youth, and eventually he served in the Korean War, after which he completed his education at University of Louisville. He earned 3 degrees in engineering. He completed his last one in 1960. He then took a job at the University of Alaska. Interesting, we talked about that earlier. And created the mechanical engineering program at that school. In 1961, he accepted a position at his alma mater, back in the continental U.S. He'd become interested in the paranormal in the mid-1950s. Basically coming off of the UFO craze, Roswell, and what have you. In 1962, he called together a group to practice meditation in an attempt to contact extraterrestrials. Because he was gifted a book that depicted UFO contactees in Detroit who claimed to have a psychic tie to their alien abductors. This part is actually, I think, on his website. The experiment proved successful. And in 1963, he published an initial report, Telepathy Data Collected by Extraterrestrial Communication. It's required reading in most schools now. In 1965, he left...
Oh, soon to be.
Well, yeah, now it's going to be, I'm sure. In 1965, he left the university for a higher paying job as a pilot because, back when airlines made money, apparently. During this time, though, he formed a group that would stay together for quite a while. One of the people that he managed to recruit was a woman named Carla Rueckert. Following her divorce in 1968, they became close friends, and he began to work with her as sometimes described as medium, sometimes described as channel, and she became one of his top bitches.
A technical term.
Yeah, that's medical. So in 1970, they founded L/L Research, Love Light Research, to provide structure for this project. And so through the 1970s, Elkins developed a cadre of what he called channels, or can be described as mediums. The first of which resulted in a book co-authored with Ruckert called Secrets of the UFO.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
I want to know the secrets of the UFO.
Tell me the secrets of the UFO.
Why have we not heard of these before? In 1980, Elkins invited a member of his original group, James McCarthy. I think it's actually McCarthy. I think it's James McCarthy, to work with him exclusively with Ruckert. As a result, was one of the craziest paranormal sessions, let's say, of all time. And this is right up there with Rendlesham in its scope. Ruckert claimed to experience an intensive period of channeling an extraterrestrial being calling himself Ra. He claimed to have come to Earth centuries ago and to have introduced monotheism to Egypt and to have built the pyramids. Okay, a bunch of flares going off now.
Yep. Okay. All right.
This also comes from Elkins' website. He taught that the basic truth was that, in capital letters, all are one. This material was gathered together and published over the next few years as The Law of One.
Cool.
Love Light Research is jargon they helped coin. You'll see this in almost all New Age spiritualism today. So much so, even in fucking Instagram moms are talking about love and light. It's so cliche and so overused, even from 1970 when they coined it. Even the creators of it kind of commented it on later. It basically includes focusing the mind to channel chakras and focus, and we're all love and God is everything. We've all heard it before.
Yeah, I call it the way. That's how I found my spiritual truth.
This is the way. It's very clearly replicatable. It's almost like a Mad Libs template for every spiritual leader that comes after this. To the extent where Don Elkins actually mentions this in one of the sessions about how generic and absurdly obvious these things were that she was channeling. He actually goes on to question, why is this so ambiguous? At one point, he basically just goes, can we not do that because we're wasting our time here? Even though he believed it was happening, which is embarrassing. If you want, I can send you a link to some of the audio, because these were all recorded. Basically, here's how it worked. So Ruckert would go into a trance state and channel Ra. And I'm going to pause right here so that I want you to understand how serious this is. This work, The Law of One, is also referred to by them as the raw materials.
Wait, are we raw dog in this episode?
The raw dog. The raw dog materials.
You know, ODB used to say, "Ooh, baby, I like it raw." That must have been what he was talking about.
I'm pretty sure he was channeling Ra.
He was really into the sixth density social memory complex that originated from Venus.
See, that's what we're getting at here. This is where it gets complicated, because we don't want to be complete cynics, and we don't want to seem as we're just making fun of certain things, but
No, we're having fun.
we're having fun, that's for sure. This comes down to sort of like the fundamental idea that this kind of thing, it uses such double talk and such generic and ambiguous language that you can pretty much just put whatever you want on top of it and then think you're doing something profound. Which I guess is all of human history, but this is the onset of the modern version of this. This is post Blavatsky and post that whole Vril. This is the modern genesis of this kind of spiritualism, which just naturally lends itself to grifters and con artists and cult leaders.
Well, I mean, the thing behind all new religious movements is that people are searching for meaning.
Mm-hmm.
They're searching for hope. They're searching for enlightenment. And if they haven't found it, a new path opening up that seems new and fresh and different and exciting,
Mm-hmm.
it's understandable that anybody would take that path. The people who do this, they're not necessarily, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but not every QAnon person is an idiot or Mark. There's a lot of people just get misguided.
Mm-hmm.
They're searching for meaning and reason to their life, and they found answers, or at least someone purporting to have the answers, that may not have their best interest or the interest of society as a whole there for them.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's cyclical. I mean, like, whether it's Mormonism or spiritualism or other offshoots of major religions or backlashes to major religions. I mean, think about all that cult in Oregon that essentially started with a yoga instructor who became a psychotic dictator. And since the Enlightenment, essentially, and obviously before it could, but that's kind of a different topic, there have been backlashes, discontent with mainstream doctrine of institutionalized religion. And so inevitably, these kinds of things happen. And along with those offshoots, like what was it? In the 70s, you had the Hare Krishnas. I mean, white people joining Hare Krishna groups or certain hippie communes that profess Hindu doctrine or whatever. I mean, it's cyclical. It's always happened. A part of that is also the more modern we get, the more we move away from not necessarily getting secular, but being more granular with how we understand the way the universe actually works scientifically, the more we look for different explanation. And instead of just being like, oh, moon's too big, I gotta kill this chick in town because she's a witch, we go, oh, now I know how the moon works. So
I need to kill this chicken town because she's a witch. But I do know about the moon.
But I know how the moon works now. So they look for more grandiose, but also more, at the same time, both generic and specific explanations. Like, they pick and choose from different cultures, but they still want more so overarchingly vague answers to these things that we get stuff like this. Here's one of my favorite excerpts of this. This is kind of how these conversations went in these sessions. From the questioner.
Understand that the first distortion, intelligent infinity, is the distortion of what we call free will. Can you give me a definition of this distortion?
I am Ra. In this distortion of the law of one, it is recognized that the Creator will know itself.
Then, am I correct in assuming that the Creator will know itself? The Creator then grants for this knowing the concept of freedom, total freedom of choice in the ways of knowing. Am I correct?
I am Ra. This is quite correct.
Oh my God, who would possibly talk like? I mean, maybe sixth-dimensional creator entities might speak this way. Who else would?
Zool, I think.
Zool. At least I got the gist of what Zool was saying, and Zool didn't have to say, I am Zool every time, like it's Simon Says.
I will continue. Questioner.
This then being the first distortion of the law of one, which I assume is the law of intelligent infinity.
I'm assuming that too. We're all thinking that.
But who wouldn't? I mean, we're all on the same page here. Intelligent infinity, that's
obviously.
That's my license plate, okay?
No, your license plate is actually much strangely more confusing if you even don't know what it means.
This then being the first distortion of the law of one, which I assuming is the law of intelligent infinity, from all other distortions, which are the total experience of the creation, spring from this. Is this correct?
What?
I am Ra. This is both correct and incorrect. In your illusion, all experience springs from the law of free will or the way of confusion. In another sense, which we are learning, the experiences are this distortion.
Fuck off, Roth.
The Raw in
What is that?
The Raw in Stargate made way more sense. Okay, I like this part too. And we're gonna do this the whole time, but this is funny.
Although we could. That could be a whole podcast of itself.
We could do a live thing about that. That'd be really funny.
And we'll have to think about that and ask questions on it in the next session. Well, we'll go on to what you have given me as the second distortion, which is distortion of love. Is this correct?
Where did that come from?
I am Ra. This is correct.
Cool. Thanks. Great.
Nailed it.
Really helping me in my life.
This is enlightenment.
It's all explained now.
Jake, this is enlightenment. This is the truth in the way, the love and the light.
This is what raw dogging love and life is all about.
Raw dogging love and light. That's the name of the episode. This influences so many people today. Very serious people. What was that woman who died in Hawaii? They wrapped her in Christmas lights.
Amy Carlson?
Yeah.
Mother God?
That's this. It's still going on.
Yep. It always will be.
Apparently.
Until Raw finally decides to
Come through the Stargate?
Yeah, once he pops out, and I was like, hey, obviously you guys know what Love and Light's about. You know that whole free will thing. We talked about it earlier, Hey, I'm Raw.
Did you see the Raw thing? Let me tell you the raw truth.
Until that happens, someone's going to be trying to figure things out, and that's where we get this stuff.
Even from their own website, they try to give you these overarching synopses of point by point. And even in those, they contradict themselves. If you go and you actually listen to or read the transcripts from the actual sessions, the law of one states that there is only one, and that one is the infinite creator, which Ra also calls the infinite intelligence or intelligent infinity. Okay. Since all is one, all manifestations or appearances of manyness is an illusion. According to Ra, it is an illusion carefully engineered in order to give the creator the opportunity to know itself. Okay, so this is where you think you get into, original sin or something, right? On their website, it says, in Ra's terms, distortion is anything that moves away from undistorted unity. Defining yourself by saying you're not the opposite of yourself is really helpful. You're Jake because you're not Jake.
Hey, stop you if you're telling a lie.
You're Jake because you're not anti-Jake.
Stepping back a second, by imposing these at odds logical distinctions and rhetorical conundrums, it imposes this pseudo-esoteric mysticism and ineffability to these things. You can't really ever grasp it because you can't explain it, so it's always mysterious and thus has power.
And you can't disprove it either.
No, because it's not saying anything. It's all just mumbo jumbo.
Yeah.
So you're just running around in circles. And anybody who tries to come at that, well, they'll just point to that. And then if you try to explain well, that doesn't make sense, they're like, well, you're just not understanding.
Right, exactly.
It innately doesn't make sense.
And then the more you look into it, the less it makes sense. Okay, so free will, the first distortion. The first distortion is free will or finity, or the limit of viewpoint.
Or the concept of free will is a distortion of the way things are.
Right, which can be taken so many ways.
It's a malleability of motive.
Absolutely.
And you can use it however you like.
It says here, even in this, with the first distortion, the created universe that we experience is the creator's exploration of itself through the first distortion, which Ra also calls the law of confusion. Ra defines free will as the recognition that the creator will know itself. You could take that in a lot of ways. Their website is kind of set up like the Bible a little bit, where they have citations. You can go and you can look at the actual quote from the original text or whatever. They kind of don't agree with the summation that they put on there. It's a little different. The way that they describe free will.
And am I correct in assuming that the creator will know itself, creator then grants for this knowing the concept of total freedom of choice in the ways of knowing? Am I correct?
I am Ra. This is white. Correct.
That's not exactly what they said in the summation, though.
I mean, I do find their ability to interpret the universe in a new way fascinating. I will give it that.
This is a good one.
Is there a manifestation of love that we could call vibration?
That is science.
I just love how all of these questions, they have an underlying thesis behind them that is coming completely out of left field.
Yeah, I know. Well, we all know that 5G gives cancer to cats.
I mean, yes, we do know that. I am Ra. Yes, that is correct.
And so from there, we can now build our logical arguments. That's what this is, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the response. This is one of the longer responses by Ra.
I am Ra. Again, we reach semantic difficulties.
You know what? He's not wrong there.
The vibration or density of love or understanding is not a term used in the same sense sense as the second distortion, love, the distortion, love being the great activator and primal co-creator of various creations using intelligent infinity, the vibration, love being that density in which those who have learned to do an activity called loving without significant distortion, then seek the ways of light or wisdom. Thus, in a vibratory sense, love comes into light in the sense of the activity of unity in its free will. Love uses light and has the power to direct light in its distortions. Thus, vibratory complexes recapitulate in reverse of the creation in its unity, thus showing the rhythm or flow of the great heartbeat, if you will use this analogy.
Shout out to the movie Rhythm and Flow.
What are we supposed to make of the rhythm of the night then? If there's no light? How does this religious movement not do rhythm of the light?
How is it not the law of one in the Miami Sound Machine?
Also, do we think that Groot is just like, he's still contemplating how to tell them about their original sin? It's like, I am Groot, your idea about vibrational love is wrong, and...
That's the real Ancient Aliens theory there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could say this is kooky and woo-woo, and that's fine.
I am Raw, that is correct.
This is correct. I'm sure you've gone through some of these. They are quite entertaining. The woman that's channeling this is eventually just like, I'm tired. Let's do this later.
I love that. I love that. No, I know we're like breaking down the laws of the universe and what it means to be human and both an infinite soul wandering upon the light and love of the intergalactic unity that we all are. But I'm really hungry, so I think we're going to take a break.
This instrument, it is growing low in vital energy, green ray energy, and partially opening other self to blue ray interaction. May we ask if you have any queries before we close?
So the next response is, the only thing I need to know is there anything we could do to make the instrument more comfortable or help her?
I am Ra. This instrument is slightly uncomfortable.
Wait, what? Hold on.
Wait, what?
That's supposed to be like a salutation?
Don't know what that is.
ADONAI? I guess that's supposed to be a salutation?
What you say? ADONAI?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the word, and it refers exclusively to God, the singular form of Adonai, the Hebrew term meaning my lord or my master. Originally historically used to refer to human superior, a king, a husband, or a man in position of authority.
Okay. So he was saying raw out and dropped the mic.
Yeah. I am Ra. This vessel needs at least a couple $100, maybe 20 minutes of oral satisfaction and a light nap.
Do you have any change?
I am Ra. Can you put the game on, please?
I am Raw. My car broke down and I need to get back home to my kids. I'm hangry. Please leave me alone.
Oh, Ra.
And I don't mean to be cynical, but the best part about this is, like, I'm literally reading this from their website. You can look this up. They give you free links to their audio, to their transcripts of these sessions, which number 106, by the way.
That's a lot of truth.
The first round. There is later a movement called re-listening, where they will revisit this and do an extra 60 plus.
Oh, shit. That's smart.
Yep.
That's smart.
That's the New Testament.
Yeah. Take that old shit, flip it, reverse it, make the new shit, and then...
Spit on it.
Remix that shit. That's your third one. Get somebody to cover that shit. That's 4.
And then you have a reboot.
That's 5 right there.
And then a few years later, you have a requel.
Yeah. To do a prequel of that reboot. Then you have a multiverse where it's the two interacting.
Oh, no. So I'm on the website right now, right? And they have all these links in various languages. And then there's an ad at the bottom. And this is not generated by them. This is an actual ad put in by, one of those firms that does this.
Put in by Ra himself.
What starseed are you?
Ooh, which one? Oh, man. There's so many to choose from, though.
And it asks, are you a Palladian? A gray, brackets, Zeta Reticuli? A light worker? Or a Syrian? No, not Assyrian. Syrian.
Yeah. I mean, I've always thought of myself more as an Arcturian. With Arcturians, baby, it doesn't matter,
I've always considered myself from the 12th planet. Labubu.
Labubu. Labubu. No, canonically, it's now Labubu, okay?
Sure is.
Yeah, that's what we needed. That's the good stuff right there.
Mm-hmm. People tying this into the Anunnaki, coming up with different weird interpretations of it, on their own, because it's so generic in its like doublespeak and its ambiguity that they can just kind of throw whatever jargon or what have you on top of it and make it mean whatever they want. And you know what? And for some people, maybe that helps. Sure. But when you get into the ancient alien stuff, as we were talking, a lot of it is literally just white colonial discreditation of ancient cultures and othering of non-white, non-European societies, their ability to possibly engineer something or build something and not be white.
I would say there is a strong Western paradigm that is applied to a lot of these things when they don't quite understand. There's plenty of Mesoamerican cultures and other cultures around the world that have described interactions with beings of the ancient past that could be interpreted, or some believe are alien, and some of this comes from that. But I do think what you're saying is like at the through line for a lot of people who get into this line of thinking.
And as you were saying, there are accounts of things like the chariots of the gods type stuff, the wheels, all sorts of alien, maybe accounts, you could say, in ancient history. But, the underlying premise of most of this type of line of thinking is essentially othering aliens.
Hey, you can't other aliens, man. This is the infinite, all of us, whatever it was, what was it, the infinite intelligence? Yeah.
Well, on this density.
I mean, it all depends, which layer of the jello you're really functioning on.
I mean, it's part of the 75,000 year cycle.
That's a long cycle.
I didn't want to even get into that because the lore in this is long. It's really long. There's 106 of these in the first. You can look into that if you want to. Do your own research.
Choose your own research.
I didn't want to get too far into it, but this is interesting because it is a fundamental, I think, part of the modern New Age spiritual movement. And if you've ever heard anyone talking about light beings, or moving toward light, or like being a bringer of light, or being, or white light, star children, or anything in that vein, anything you heard at Burning Man. These guys coined light love research. And this is kind of the fundamental baseline.
You said you were going down this particular light and love rabbit hole, and it led you some other places. Is that right? Something a little teaser for what will come next?
Oh, indeed it did. In fact, there were a lot of things that falling down this rabbit hole I hit my head on, and we will discuss several of those coming up soon.
Give us a little tastes. It's on the menu.
Well, this won't be literally what it is, but I encourage all of you to look up a guy, a friend, dear friend of the show.
Let's not go that far.
Sunbow True Brother. And if you've ever met him at a rainbow gathering,
a Squatch sighting, maybe?
If you've ever gone squatching, you might have met our good friend, Sunbow True Brother. It's just a tease. There's more involved, and we will get to that soon.
Indeed we will, gentle listener. But until that time, we hope that you've enjoyed the journey with us so far. I am Raw, and if you wouldn't mind liking, sharing, subscribing.
You just start out every statement that way.
I am Raw. Please leave us 5 lights and loves on the podcast app of your choice. Ideally, Apple Podcasts is the best way for us heard and seen. I am Raw. Do check us out on YouTube. We are there. We'll have social media sometime, I am Raw. But until we do, also, if you know that any people that might, friends, loved ones, retirees, veterans, veterinarians, anybody who might be interested in what we do, what we talk about, hey, pass along, because I am Raw. And we just want to share what we're doing. And, one last thing I'd like to say, that I am Raw, and we are happy that you have been listening with us, and we hope you've enjoyed everything. And Skip, until next time, I am Raw, what should they do?
Well, first and foremost, I am Raw, and we are all part of the whole, the infinite intelligence, the whole being of creation. Reject distortions and the idea of manyness, and please support your local comic shops and retailers, because they are part of the whole and the one, and they are Raw. And from Dispatch Ajax, who is Raw, we'd like to say Godspeed, fair wizards.
I am Raw.
Please, go away.